We have talked a lot throughout the pandemic with several experts regarding Alzheimer's and dementia on our elderly people, our members of our community and our loved ones throughout this pandemic, because we do know they have been especially hit. And I was looking up some numbers this morning, and according to the Alzheimer's Association, at least 42,000 more deaths from Alzheimer's or other dementia-related diseases occurred in 2020 compared to the last 5 years. And that number to me is staggering, because we have to remember it's not a number. It's a life. It's a life that has been lived. It's a mother, it's a father, it's an aunt, and it's uncle, and they have family members, and they have memories and connections, and that number to me is astounding. But there is a person here locally. He's a bit of a entrepreneur, though, in some other businesses as well, but due to a personal situation, he decided to kind of jump into the world of Alzheimer's and dementia and try to help come up with not a cure, but at least something to address the issue in the hopes of delaying what is happening. We're excited to bring in Edward Shehab. He's the co-founder and the managing partner for Memory Health, and it's great to have you with us.
Ronnie, good morning. Thank you so much for having me on.
Those numbers really kind of break my heart, because anyone that has an elderly family member in the middle of COVID, and even more so those that have been in our nursing homes and our long-term care facilities, I feel like this past year has just been one that so many people may never recover from.
Yeah, it's really been a tragic year for people suffering in that regard. I mean, I think you have to take a look at the state of mind of those people to begin with, and where are they in their walk of life, and unfortunately afflicted with some form of dementia, be it Alzheimer's. One of the things we do know, though, interaction is so key to a healthy life and a healthy brain. It's no different for people who are suffering. And the lack of interaction over this last year has been traumatic in that regard, and certainly has been, I think without a doubt, one of the reasons why we've seen additional increases, as well as we have continually aging population moving into that window. So it's a combination of things, but clearly last year, the isolation, not good for anybody, especially those currently suffering. But I'll just make another point. I mean, we're social animals. We need to interact. This whole idea of separation and isolation has way more effects than positives, I believe. And that's my personal opinion on that. But the news that I want to bring today is there's hope. As we've discussed, the product that we have is not a cure. But in reality, what we are stressing here is a product that we should be taking early on throughout our life, so we combat the ongoing effects of oxidative stress on the brain and mental disease as we move forward. And that's really the key. What we want to do is push the window out before individuals are actually hit hard with dementia/Alzheimer's. And we have been able to do that with the supplement. And that's really the key. No, it's not a cure, but it is a forestalling effect. And the longer we forestall the effects of the disease, the better quality of life we have. But more importantly, we avail ourselves to other opportunities to help us fight the disease as we move forward.
So before we kind of jump into the product itself, give us a little bit of background. Why did you get involved in this? You're an entrepreneur. You're not a medical doctor. You're not a researcher. You're not a scientist.
No, you're right. I am an entrepreneur, and quite honestly, I was running an oil company and still do to this day. And it's not a supplement company, but I did get involved, and I got involved for a personal reason. A couple of years ago, I was having lunch with my mother, and though it was a delightful experience, it quickly dawned on me she had no idea who I was. Oh. And that was a crushing blow, that the person who really is responsible for my life and saw my highs, my lows, enjoyed the successes that, we were able to accomplish. She no longer knew who I was. And at that point, I was dumbfounded. I was crushed. And so I said, well, look, I've built companies. I've had some success doing that. I can fix this. I can get involved and I can make a difference here. And I was introduced to this product by another entrepreneur and a dear friend of mine who basically said, Eddie, this product's coming to market. It's 20 years in the research. I think you might want to give this to your mother and see how it helps her. So before I did that, I delved into it and really got a look at the product, looked at the scientific research behind it, and said, yes, this is something that I would like to do for my mother and see if I can make a difference for her. Ronnie, one of the things that we have seen in the science is that it's never too early to start with some form of supplementation, but it can be too late. In my mother's case, we'll call it a door that Alzheimer's patients kind of walk through. And that door, once it's breached, they're not coming back. And for my mother, that day was kind of the end of her abilities to, take a step back. Had this product been available 6 months earlier, it could have made a difference in my mother's life. I'm convinced of that. I've seen that in the medical research. But unfortunately for her, it was too late. But I believed in the product so much, I said to my friend and now partner, I said, if you ever need any investment to help spur the product along, let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that for you. Never thinking I would be involved in it at this point. He's busy with other things, his other companies. The product basically needed somebody to kind of jump in and try and build the brand and get it out into the hands of the public. And so I said, well, look, I can do that. I'll do that. My other companies are doing well. I can get involved in this. And that's how it happened for me. And since then, it's been a mission. There's a lot of people suffering. There's a lot of people moving down the road. And there are young people that need to start fortifying their brain. And so for me, it's become a passion.
So before we jump into what the supplements are, what age do you think people should start addressing this issue and taking this product or other products as well?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. As I mentioned earlier, the science has shown us that it's never too early. Interesting about our product, we've actually, and without delving into the product right away here, but the product is actually feeding the brain. So as a result, we've actually had pregnant women taking our product to nurture the brains of their unborn children. The reason for that is we're providing a food source to the brain to help nourish the brain, to help protect the brain as it moves forward. And so we've seen it at the very youngest, starts of life. And quite honestly, really what we think our demographic currently is the 40 to 50-year-olds. As they're moving through life, they've already experienced a great deal of oxidative stress in their life. Clearly, the last year has been very hard on a lot of people. And that's unfortunately a check that's being written in our brain that we're not totally aware of until it's too late. All of a sudden I start forgetting things, or I have brain fog and I'm not sure why, or I'm just not, I can't focus. And so those are signs where people really need to start taking a look at getting into a program like this, a supplement to help them as they move forward.
Eddie Sheahab with us here on the Megacast. He's the co-founder for the managing partner for Memory Health. And as we mentioned, according to the Alzheimer's Association, more than 6 million Americans are living with the disease right now. And we have seen such a spike throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And if I can ask you, just what is it that is in your supplement that makes it different? Because we've heard these pitches for years.
Sure you have. And quite honestly, it's one of the biggest frustrations I have in trying to present our product. The first thing that everybody should know as it relates to any supplement they take, they should really take a look at what is the true science behind it. People claim science, but they look at peer-reviewed analysis of other products and say, well, my product has that, so therefore I have science. The difference here with Memory Health was Memory Health, the supplement itself, was selected for Alzheimer's research. We did not go to somebody and say, here's some money, start using our product in an Alzheimer's research study. And subsequent to that study was a double-blind, placebo-based clinical trial. The supplement now has gone through 5 different double-blind, placebo-based clinical trials, which you may remember that because that's Dr. Fauci's statement as it relates to a lot of things that were being presented in the whole COVID year. Well, that's really important because you have a controlled group and then you have the placebo group. And in this case, the supplement was given, it was studied over 14 months, and the results were really profound in that in the group receiving the memory health supplement, there were increases in mood, memory, cognitive function, and in half of the people in the group, there was a forestalling of the ongoing effects of the disease over that time period. What we do know with Alzheimer's, it can be rapidly moving, and in this case, that was just groundbreaking. So that then was taken, and the results of that clinical trial were published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease, and that started the ball rolling in using memory health and other subsequent clinical trials, from demented brains to mild cognitive impairment, which is unfortunately a stepping stone to dementia, and then all the way down into healthy brains. And what we saw consistently across the board is that supplement had provided increases in mood, memory, cognitive function for all those in the control group, actually going back over 5 different clinical trials, which is really profound. And I would say to you, I don't really know any supplement that has actually gone through that type of clinical trial. The other thing that's really important when you look at the science, and I stress this across the board, you have to take a look at who's doing the science, what the research is. Is it a clinical trial? Is it double blind? What you find is most supplements never go through anything like that. And as a result, with a product that we believe is really groundbreaking in this area, we're swimming upstream because there's a lot of really unfortunate junk product out there with big advertising budgets, but really no clinical trials behind it. And the last trial that just came forward was a meta-analysis. And I guess what I would say to you, that's kind of like Hall of Fame voting. So they take a look at all of the studies, a peer-reviewed analysis of all the studies for nutritional support of the brain, and then they rank their findings and they either affirm or I don't want to say that they're going to contradict, but what they look to do is affirm the findings of the studies. And for us, they actually, the memory health supplement was used in 2 of the studies that were part of this 7 group study. And in that, the meta-analysis confirmed the fact that not only is memory health helpful for those people with demented brains, but it really helps people across the age spectrum, especially from really youth all the way up through to the demented brain. So that's big for us and clearly separates us. The other thing that's really important about memory health is that it's all natural. The supplementation itself, though it's patented, is a supplement that is found in nature. There are carotenoids, lutein, zeaxanthin, and mesozeaxanthin combined with omegas, EPA and DHA. And that supplementation is used to basically feed the brain. There are carotenoid centers in our eye and in our brain, as well. The DHA is the largest mass in our brain. And so what this supplement does is it's actually feeding those centers. Now, what are carotenoids? Well, carotenoids are found in leafy green vegetables. They're found in fish, and they're out there. And people say, well, why can't I just eat it? Well, the problem
I was just about to ask you that, by the way.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the problem is you can't get enough. And that has to do with a lot of things. But we take a look at the nutritional supplementation of a bowl of spinach in 1953 would require 40 bowls today. So you're not getting enough of the supplements of carotenoids and omegas in your diet. And as a result, you are not getting the flow that you need to help feed the brain and help make a difference in your eyes, your brain, with just a regular diet. So it's a combination of things. And here is kind of a supercharged supplement that is going through to the brain. The other thing that's really important is people ask us, well, how do you know it gets to the brain? And so the science and the research was all part of that. And they took a look at the macula, which is actually brain tissue. And the macula is the pathway, obviously, to the brain, and it's brain tissue. And so what they did is they took a look at the serum levels of carotenoids in the DHA in the macula. And after the study started, they started to take a look at, okay, where are those levels? And I think one of the things that's really kind of great for people to get an understanding here is that it's kind of like filling up your gas tank. The levels of the carotenoid supplementation increased linearly across the board and kept moving up in the macular tissue, which is basically saying we are kind of filling up that area with the carotenoid supplementation that is required. The other side of it is there's something called the blood-brain barrier. And that basically says, look, Ronnie, you can take anything you want. Take ginkgo, take whatever you want. But if it's not in the brain, it's not going to the brain. And so the blood-brain barrier basically is this, trolley car that says, yes, in the brain, come on up. No, in the brain, stay in the system, but you're not going to the brain. That was another really defining moment for us because we were actually able to show that the supplementation was actually getting up to where it needed to be, which all led, quite honestly, to the findings of the multiple research studies.
And with that, we should mention you're listening to 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake, 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills, a little late on our station ID. But again, we're talking with Edward Shehab. He is the co-founder and managing partner for Memory Health. And if I could just kind of put on my journalistic hat here and dig into the reservoirs. And from my understanding, though, when it comes to supplements, they are not FDA approved. There's a lot of talk and discussion around when we buy these supplements on our, the store shelves. We don't know exactly what we're getting. So when it comes from your studies, but also the FDA, what is that link there?
Well, two things to take a look at. One thing that you pointed out, we don't know really what's in these supplements. And so now there's a move to have independent research studies, research groups take a look at the supplements themselves, break them down and say, you said you had carotenoids, you said you had omega. Well, indeed you do, and you do at the levels, and you don't have something else added to it. For example, Memory Health does not add caffeine to any of its supplementation. Many products do, and the reason for that is people want to feel like, oh, wow, it's making a difference immediately. So that is key. Understand that supplementation is considered food product, but it's not regulated by the FDA. And so as a result, that is not a cert that many supplements will look to find or seek. It's not part of this process. So that's why the consumer has to take a look at, okay, well, what is the workup behind this? What are the studies that are shown? Who did the studies? One of the problems that we also see is that we have firms out there that say, well, we have science. Well, actually what they don't. They have internal white papers that a scientist wrote, which we saw a proliferation of this also with COVID, but it's not double blind, it's not clinical peer reviewed. And so it's really not strong science. And so that's the other thing that people have to take a look at. And that's what we fall back on, constantly. What separates us from everybody is A, the quality of our product, but B, again, we didn't pay for this. We were selected for the studies, the independent clinically reviewed research studies. And that's critical. And that's important. And I'm not sure really the FDA is really the harborer of that really kind of information. I don't know necessarily if that would even be the right way to regulate a lot of the supplements. But I can say to you that look at the product, see if there's been any formal certification of the quality of the product, what's actually in the product, and then subsequently take a look at the history and the science behind it. Is it real? Was the product actually used versus somebody saying, well, omegas are good for the brain. There were studies done on that. My product has omega, so mine is good for you. And you see a lot of that as well. And that's really the noise of the marketplace. And that's been really my big frustration is there's so much junk out there and really trying to separate ourselves from that.
And so with that, that would be, I think, one of the biggest challenges as well as you're coming in to try to separate yourself. But on top of that, too, what is the price for this? And is it a monthly?
Yes. So it's really critical here, too. And thank you for bringing that up. This is not, I take Memory Health today and tomorrow I remember everything I forgot, or my brain fog has gone away and I'm bright again, or I'm focused again. This really is a journey, and it's a journey that you need to be taking. Understand the research studies primarily measured time of 14 months or 16 months with these patients. And so subsequently, some people saw immediate benefits, some people didn't see benefits till 6 months or 9 months. So it was important for us to have a product that people could consume on a regular basis without breaking the bank. And so as a result of that, our product right now is priced at $49.95 for an individual box, $44 for a subscription, and we really try and promote that. And the whole idea is to really try to continue to avail to people the opportunity to start this journey. And so that was important. The quality of the manufacturing of the process was important. Understand this is American made. We are not bringing product in from China. Our product is made in America. It's distributed here in America, and it's headquartered here. The company's headquartered in Michigan. So that was really the quality of the product, the pricing of the product, the science behind the product really is the envelope that we're bringing to the marketplace.
And with that, Edward Shehab with us here on the Megacast. He's the co-founder and managing partner for Memory Health. It is really such an important topic for all of us, and I think it's going to continue to be even more of a topic as we emerge from COVID-19, as we have addressed the issue of Alzheimer's and dementia, and I think it's brought it to the forefront for all of us, as well as we've seen family members suffer from this disease, and we don't want to go there. We don't want to be that next generation with this disease. So it doesn't really matter if anything can help you with it. It's going to benefit so many of us. So with that, I know that you're putting your name on this and your reputation on it as well. So we appreciate your time. Anything maybe I didn't ask, or give us the website where people can find out more info.
Well, thank you. It's memoryhealth.com. And that currently is really the only way that you can acquire the product. We are direct to consumer. That's part of our strategy as well. You will not find us on the CVS's, the Walgreens of the world. And the reason for that is there's a lot of noise on those shelves, and we need to continue to elevate and separate our products. So right now it's direct to consumer. And I do want to point out one thing to you too. My family's all on the product. My son, who's an athlete, he plays catcher in baseball, he plays quarterback in football. Obviously, his head is subjected to trauma. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm fortifying his brain today, because I know the effects of those positions down throughout the history of his life. I'm going to mitigate the effects of that. My daughter's on it. My wife, who suffered a concussion playing in the pool with the kids, is on it. And I really believe my goal is to try and get everybody across the age spectrum to get onto the product. Fortify your brain today with a natural supplement, no negative side effects, clinically trialed, clinically proven, and the research is there. And with that, we can help build basically extend my mission to try and help as many people as possible.
I love that point as well, which you just brought up. It's not just for the elderly. Think now, and your brain will thank you later.
Yes, I would like to use that. That's a great line.
Go ahead. Think now, and your brain will thank you later. There you go.
That's exactly right. Today is the day to start that trek, and everybody should do it. And whether you take Memory Health or not, I hope you do. But think about what I said as it relates to the product that's out there. Advertising budgets don't equal science,
yes,
or reality for that matter. Take a look at the products you're taking. Make good, educated choices. It's your money. You're spending it. Make sure you get something out of it.
And we know that this is a passion project for you as well. So
yeah, it is. It is. I've been fortunate. The success I've had in other companies have availed me the opportunity to do this. And I'm grateful that my partner and friend brought me this glimmer of hope that I hopefully can pass on to more. It truly is a passion. It's a very empty, hopeless feeling when the person you dearly love has no idea you exist anymore. And I need to fix that for a lot of people. And hopefully we'll have more and more people understand that and not wait till then, because honestly, then is too late. We need to start this process now.
Such a good point. We so appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate being here. It's been a pleasure. And I'll look forward to hopefully running into you and talking about this in the future. And again, any more questions, any thoughts, don't hesitate to contact me or go to the website, memoryhealth.com.
Thank you so much.